Hello, my name is Georgios Chapantidis, and this video will be about narcissism in astrology. So as you can see, I prepared a little sheet. I will be notifying every aspect that I know of, and I will just write it down in this document. So you will have a little list of indicators that suggest that somebody could have narcissistic personality disorder. Now, obviously, as a disclaimer, nobody who just has one of these aspects is automatically going to be a narcissist. But simply, these are aspects that we commonly see in individuals who have some kind of self-denial problem, which can be transformed, can be compensated, supported by other aspects in the chart. So you always have to look at the whole chart. I'm not here to give you a cheat sheet. There's no such thing. But if your boyfriend or your wife or whoever has a lot of these aspects and they have all of them at the same time and they don't have any compensating aspects in their chart, then these are basically your red flags. You know, that's how you can look at them. Red flags, narcissism in a natal chart. Okay? So let's begin. Now, the most obvious indicators of narcissism, in my opinion, because it's an opinion, this is not, oh, this is 100%, this is how it is. No, this changes based on the culture, the society, how things are on this planet. So aspects actually have a changeable nature. But the most common indicator I see of narcissism in the chart is Uranus. Yes, Uranus. Why Uranus? Well, if Uranus is conjunction the Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, this is a self-denial, no, self-rejection indicator. Yeah, self-rejection. I've never done this before, so excuse my amateurism. So self-rejection. Why is Uranus about self-rejection? And what does it have to do with narcissism? Now, Uranus, as you know, has to do with detaching yourself from the collective to reach a higher state of consciousness, to awaken to the next level, to revolutionize, shock, electrify, change something. So if you have Uranus on a natal aspect that is major, it zaps the planet. It's like a tingling. Why would somebody get zapped? If there's somebody knocking at your door and telling you, I don't like your sun, so I don't like your ego, I don't like how you express yourself, or I don't like your moon, I don't like you expressing your emotions, or I don't like your ascendant, I don't like how you interact with me, the way you look at me, the subtle clues you send me, the words you speak, the way you speak them, all of this, I will zap you if you do any of these things. Zap? To be zapped is to be rejected. To be zapped is to be put in an uncomfortable position. Uranus often indicates anxiety. So it's an anxiety indicator. And what does it have to do with self-rejection? Well, if somebody gives you anxiety because they judge constantly what you're doing, doesn't that mean they're rejecting you? Doesn't that mean they don't like what you're doing? And because Uranus is about awakening, changing, that means that whatever you already are is not good enough. We don't like it. So we need you to change it, you know? So Uranus is a rough one. Uranus creates zapping. and you don't want zapping, at least not too much. You can have some of it, which is why it's an indicator. It is never a guarantee, not even remotely. If you have one indicator, you have one indicator, okay? One indicator means nothing. But let's say you have 3 indicators. Means something. 3 to 6 or more. This person is disordered. 100%. 100%, okay? So this is one indicator. One indicator, okay? Let me do this, okay? Cause, excuse my amateurism, and like again. So, Uranus is the first. Let's have another one. Neptune. Yes, Neptune. Everybody knows Neptune. Everybody knows delusion. Conjunction Sun, Moon, Ascendant. So obviously, if I say Sun, Moon, Ascendant, these are the biggest, strongest aspects of any chart. So of course, that's why it's an indicator, because it has a very strong effect to negatively influence that. But optionally, Venus, Mars. But Venus, Mars, in case of Neptune, are also very significant. I'm going to explain why. Neptune is about denial, delusion, creating a fog, creating a cloud, negatively. Positively, it's about imagination, your art, your creativity. It makes you very, very creative in creating something that is far away, bringing art from the supernatural world. It has to do with psychic stuff. So your Neptune can make you more sensitive, more compassionate, more understanding. But Neptune, by the way, Uranus, self-rejection. Neptune, self-dissolution, self-sacrifice. Neptune is connected with martyrdom. Neptune is connected to learned helplessness. Martyrdom. By the way, zapping, anxiety. By the way, let me do this. Yes, I'm getting better at this, you see? Organize. So these are the keywords. Self-sacrifice, helplessness, martyrdom. You don't want these. Why? Well, if Neptune creates a fog, if Neptune creates illusions, if Neptune creates sacrifice on your sun, your ego is being sacrificed. Why are you sacrificing your ego? What are you doing? Why would you do that? What's the point of sacrificing your ego? Why? Look, if you look at astrology, look at a child. Astrology for children. If you look at astrology, look at a child. A child doesn't have any reason to sacrifice their ego. Why the fuck would they do that? Doesn't make any sense. If it's on the moon, why would the child sacrifice their emotions? Why would they dissolve boundaries? Boundaries. What for? And the ascendant, why would the child sacrifice their identity? Because the ascendant is their identity. It's the first house. You see, this is how it works with indicators. They are about a very specific question. Uranus, why do you feel zapped? Why do you get anxiety? Answer, something negative is happening. Creates anxiety, you don't like it. Uncomfortable, trauma. Trauma, why? It's conjunction with Sun, Moon, Ascendant. It's permanent damage, which can be transformed and changed and healed. But initially, that's what's happening. Neptune, why are you sacrificing yourself? So these are like the children that say, give it to me, I will take care of all your problems, let me fix it all. The child is becoming the savior of a parent. So this can be sometimes the depressed parent, a parent that is unavailable. And in that sense, the child becomes unavailable for themselves. That's why it's a self-sacrifice, self-denial indicator. Denial. Yeah. Easy to see, right? So let's proceed. By the way, what does this have to do with narcissism? Well, if somebody is sacrificing themselves, in case of narcissists, the narcissist creates a false self. So, look, my true self is not wanted. They don't like my ego, so I sacrifice my ego. They don't like my emotions, so I sacrifice my emotional expression, I hide it. They don't like my identity, so I don't create one. You see, it's very easy, astrology, with me. Now the next one. Pluto, yes. Again, conjunction Sun. By the way, I don't have to repeat this. Astrology for children, conjunction Sun, Moon, Ascendant. Let's keep it simple. You know I'm going to repeat this for every planet, right? So, keywords. Well, what are the keywords for Pluto? Class. What do you think? What do you think, class? Tell me in the comments. What do you think are the keywords for Pluto? I want to know your interpretation. My Uranus is conjunction my moon sign. Ah. So your mother didn't want you to express your emotions. She told you, detach from your emotions. I don't want you to feel. That's basically it. She may not have told you directly, because the moon. So this is what things that we hide. The moon is ruled by the fourth house, by Cancer. Cancer is the shell that we put in front of us. So that's why moon is about things that are hidden. And Uranus tells us about detachment. So you have to hide your emotions. To detach from them, pretend that you don't have them. That basically is what it means. Been trying to destroy the martyrdom aspect of my personality for so long. Ah, yes, Kaylee, you told me you were Sun in Pisces, right? So think about it like this. If Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, is about these things, Pisces itself, on a smaller level, also is about these things. But it's not as extreme as Neptune. Because when you look at planets' conjunctions are far more powerful than just the sign in an aspect. Okay, but this is a rule in astrology. Pluto could mean destruction and transformation. Okay, I like that. Yes, destruction. Yes, destruction, transformation. Okay. By the way, ego, emotions, identity. Or physical body. These are the Sun, Moon, Ascendant, to clarify, okay? So, destruction and transformation. Okay, why would a child need to destroy their ego? Or, better word is rebirth. Death. Let's say destruction, death. Why would the child's ego die? Why would it have to be reborn? Why would the child's emotions have to be reborn, its identity? You know? What's the point? Well, if you have a parent that has some kind of tyrannical aspects, let's say someone who's hypercritical, because Pluto rules the 8th house, and it rules transformation because it's a sting. So the parent is stingy. Why would a child feel like it's being stung? You know? That's the childhood experience. My ego or my emotions or my identity is being stung, is under attack. There's some kind of... They're trying to destroy me, they're trying to kill me. Why would a parent try to destroy their child? Because the parent themselves have been destroyed. And they see the child as a symbol of life. So the child/life. If the child is life, and the parent, represented by the sun of the moon, father or the mother, is about to destroy them, is because they need to somehow regulate something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter why. The fact is, the child has to sacrifice themselves in a different way. Instead of, like Neptune, sacrificing yourself for them so they leave me alone, I will destroy myself. I will not be. Okay. Keyword, not be. Not be. The child says, I will not be. So I can be. I will disappear. I will close my eyes, cut my throat, shut down, be quiet. Pluto, another keyword is submerged. It hides. It's very similar to Neptune, but the difference is Neptune is always about merging. Merger fusion. You become unified with a parent. Pluto, submerge, hide, disappear from the parent. Uranus, detach from the parent. The parent is unavailable, they will not take care of me. They will not. Keyword, okay? So these are the reasons for why these can be indicators for problems. And these problems, if you have a lot of them, remember? One indicator means nothing. 3 means something. 3, 6 or more, you're fucked, my friend. Red flag. Red flag. Okay, let's continue. What's next? Scorpio moon is not easy. Yeah, it's like moon with undertones of moon conjunction Pluto. Right? It's the same theme. It's not quite as powerful, but still very significant. So you will experience all these keywords. Moon in Aquarius for Uranus. Fuck, like moon, like Aquarius, basically. Neptune, Pisces. Why should I write it? Just you know what I'm talking about, guys. You're not new to astrology. Okay, the next indicator. Well, in my list of indicators, I have Chiron. Chiron. So what's Chiron about? Chiron is about childhood wounding. Why would you be wounded? You know, I love asking these questions. Like, what is the point? No, this is not good enough. Actually. I know, or you know, if you studied astrology a little bit, Chiron is the wounded healer. You get hit by an arrow, you get poisoned. You try to heal your poison, you fail. That's Chiron. You fail. You see, that's the keyword. Keyword is failure, unable, given up. You failed, you've given up on that thing. Keywords. Keywords, try to heal. Inability, inflexible. So Karn is about things you cannot do. Karn is about being wounded. So let's say your ego is wounded. Sun conjunction Chiron. That is actually one of the strongest narcissism indicators you can have. According, these are not my words. Oh my god, this is not from me? Yes, it's not from me. It's actually, what's her name? Melanie Reinhardt or something. Chiron. There's a book called Chiron the Healing Journey. And this woman, she said in the book, Chiron is a narcissistic wounding. Because normally, only someone who wants to hurt you repeatedly to make you feel bad about yourself inflicts a Chiron conjunction Sun. This is normally what happens with Chiron conjunction Sun. The parent, they want you to feel bad about yourself. They want you to give up trying to have an ego. So you give up. And of course, that's basically narcissism in a nutshell. A narcissist has failed to generate a functioning ego. That's why Chiron is supposed to be one of the most critical indicators that we look at if we identify someone. And there are lots and lots of people who are not narcissists despite having this placement. How can this be? If somebody is giving up their ego with his placement, why would they not be a narcissist? They could develop a different strategy. Let's say your mother, because it's Sun conjunction Chiron, so if your mother is there and she gives you some support, that means you can still function even without an ego to some degree. You know, like it's not like you don't have an ego, but more like your ego is kind of weak. You know, it's like keep it down, don't express your ego, kind of like neurotic. So you take shelter with somebody else, but it's not the inflicting wound person. Yeah. If you have that shelter, then you can still develop an ego, at least on the inside. You can develop introspection. So Chiron conjunction, some people, they develop very strong ability to see where they're failing, where they are wrong. They like to address the issues that is on their end. That means they feel responsible for when things go wrong. Because of course the parent has told them repeatedly, hey, you are dysfunctional, you're fucked. So of course the person is very eager to take the responsibility on. But only if there's a shelter. If there's not a shelter, so if you have either Moon or the Sun conjunction Chiron, doesn't matter which one, and none of your parents are supporting you, then there's an extremely high chance of narcissism. Extremely high. Some people can still develop borderline. You know, it's different circumstances, things can change, so none of this is fixed. But this is one of the worst indicators you can have. Yeah. By the way, Chiron conjunction Moon. If Sun is about ego, what does the Moon, what is being wounded exactly? Well, the ability to process your emotions is damaged somehow. So let's say you're looking to your mother to validate your feelings because it's your mother, you're an infant, you're a baby, you're crying, and you look at your mother and your mother is saying, stop crying, I don't care that you're crying. So let's say the mother has no empathy for the child, or The mother is unavailable, is depressed, doesn't know what to do with the child. In that case, the child may simply shut down, may say, my mother is not able to validate my emotions, so then I shouldn't validate my emotions. Because your parents are your gods when you're a child. So you will do whatever your parents are doing. You will do to yourself. If your mother says, I don't validate you, I don't care about your emotions, then you will say, okay, then I don't care about my emotions, I don't validate mine. Because that's how you feel. It's not rational. None of this is rational, guys. None of these indicators here have anything to do with being rational. None of this is intellectual. It's in the body. You feel like you have to neglect yourself in any of these aspects, okay? To clarify that. So here's a neglection of the ability to heal your emotions and process them. You feel like you're not supposed to do that, so this ability gets crippled. And it needs other places in the chart to compensate for that. If you have it on the ascendant, you may simply feel like there's no way you can feel comfortable with your body. Your body just seems, there's just something wrong with your environment. These are sometimes people that have birth trauma. Maybe they've been grown up in an incubator, they have been imprisoned for a short time after birth. Chiron conjunction ascendant, so they develop this feeling like they just don't feel safe in their body. They gave up feeling safe in their body. So they dissociate from their body a lot. That's why it's another indicator. Because narcissists are very dissociated. Very dissociated. Dissociation is the main thing. Okay. So, Tyler, you're asking, what if you have Sun trine Chiron? Sun trine Chiron is a trine, so it would mean that your father is actually helping you if you have some kind of issues with your Chiron. So, where is your Chiron? Where is your Chiron? Let me think. Where was your Chiron? Was it in Libra? Were you that generation? Now I have to look it up. I don't remember. Oh, yes, it was in Libra. See? Ha! Yes, Libra. So if your Chiron was in Libra, and you had problems with your relationship, so you had a problem relating to your mother, it's like maybe she didn't have a good relationship with you at all, and she didn't consider your needs, so this could happen, you know? Like, Chiron, Libra people, they feel like they're just not being considered. They feel like they have to make ridiculous sacrifices, ridiculous people-pleasing, just so other people can finally accept them and just be friends with them, have a relationship with them. So maybe your father helped with you, helped to make you feel more safe, reassured you, validated you in some level. If it's in the third house, you know, because the house matters, then maybe your father has expressed something that made you feel like you could talk. You could talk about your problems, you know. When with your mother you couldn't. You couldn't communicate with her. Yeah, it's in third house Libra. Yeah, I just checked now. Okay, so that's Chiron. Let us proceed, my children. The next one is Lilith. Yes, Lilith. That's Dark Moon Lilith. Dark Moon Lilith. What's Dark Moon Lilith about? Rejection. Keywords. Hiding. It's very similar to what we've heard before. Pluto, right? Pluto's also hiding. By the way, you can't see all of this on the same page. Oh, it just crashed. It just crashed. Wait a second. You see, technology is not on my side. Fuck. It just deleted everything. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you love it when it deletes everything? Aren't you proud of my program? Fuck. Okay. Self-rejection. Lilith. Self-rejection 2. Yes, both of them. Neptune, self-sacrifice. Pluto, self-destruction. What else did we have? What was it? Chiron. Chiron, giving up on self. So, narcissism. It's really ridiculous that I have to do this again, but yeah. Conjunction. Maybe it's better that way, you know. Makes it easier. So Lilith is about self-rejection. Yes, you're at the end. Why? Well, because Lilith is the dark side of the moon. It's your dark side. Your taboos. So why would you have to taboo your moon, sun, by the way, sun, moon, yeah, my Virgo Mars is anal, sun, moon, ascendant. Why would you have a dark side of your sun, your ego, your moon, your inner child, ego, emotions, identity, any of these things? Why would you reject any of them? Well, it has to do with shaming. Has to do with shaming. So if your mother says you're weak because you're always crying, or I don't like it when you're negative, and she says that to you when you're just 3 or 4 years old, and she complains that you're crying, and when every time you say something negative, you express your emotions, she says, don't do that in some way. Then you may have Lilith conjunction the moon. And if your father, the sun, says, well, you're a SLUT or a BITCH, you're a dog on a leash, and I don't want you to dress in this way. Or, I mean, especially women sometimes have Sun conjunction Lilith. Like, they're just shamed for their sexuality. They're just not allowed to be a woman, kind of, you know. So, then you may have this placement. And if it's on the ascendant, then maybe you have to hide how you look, your facial expression. The ascendant kind of shows your personality interacting with others. So maybe your personality was shamed, you know, like maybe they said you're ugly, or something wrong with you. Maybe your parents pathologized how you look, or how you speak, how you express yourself, whatever. Then you may have it on the ascendant. You know, all of these are indicators, you know. It is what it is. Positively, if anyone can heal their Lilith, then all of these taboos will become a defining theme of their personality. This is what defines them. This is how it works. Either these planets define you, planets either define you, or they destroy you. Join or die, basically, you know? If you don't cooperate with your planets, if you don't integrate them, if you don't understand what it is they want to do, which of course Your Lilith doesn't want you to reject yourself. Your Lilith wants you to show that which you have rejected within you. Chiron doesn't want you to give up. It wants you to be relentless and trying to fix that problem, because nothing short of relentless determination is going to fix it. Pluto, if you destroy yourself, Pluto doesn't want you to destroy yourself. It wants you to transform. It's trying to mold you under the pressure. Turn lead into gold. It's for alchemy. Neptune, of course, it doesn't want you to sacrifice yourself, but it wants you to elevate into a higher consciousness. You have to give certain things up, but you need boundaries to balance that. And Neptune without boundaries is complete annihilation. And Uranus, of course, it doesn't want you to reject yourself either, or detach. It wants you to individuate, you know. All want you to individuate in their way. You know, if you have Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Conjunction, any of these planets, your individuation is under the theme of that planet. These are things that happen to you. What's your response to that? What's your response to detaching from your ego? What's your response to sacrificing yourself? Are you just going to continue destroying yourself because you have these indicators? Or are you going to, you know, elevate and express the planet? Because all indicators about narcissism are about repression at the end of the day, you know. Each indicator shows you what a person has repressed within themselves. So the key is to just stop repressing, you know. And of course, if you know that, if you understand what it is the planet wants to do, then you can heal. And that's it. So if you like this video, I hope you did. Then leave a like and see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.